Actually, it's really common to find broad beans and pecorino cheese paired together. It's quite common to eat the broad beans actually raw with pieces of pecorino cheese. You know, when my grandfather, when we were growing up in his vegetable garden, he had broad beans, and every time my father would bring them home, we would all roll our eyes because we hated broad beans. But I've decided I love them now, and I'm going to make a pasta today with fusilli, broad beans, fave as they're known in Italy, Pecorino Romano, and I'm going to add a beautiful, a couple of Italian sausages that are going to actually give it an amazing flavour. And all these flavours are going to pair together really well. So to start with, red onion that I've already chopped. I've chopped half a red onion. The broad beans, I've already cooked those. I just boiled those in water until they were soft, and then I peeled them. You want to get that outer hard shell off, so I've removed them from that. Pecorino Romano, I bought that in a piece this morning, and then I've grated it myself. Always better to do that because when you buy pecorino in a packet that's already been grated, it doesn't have any flavour at all. Okay, a little bit of chili pepper in case we need it, and 2 Italian sausages. So I'm quite generous with my olive oil in my fry pan. So I've added the red onion, and now I'm going to add the sausage, being careful as it cooks to break it up. You know, whenever I see the sausages at the butcher shop or hanging at the deli curing, it reminds me growing up in Australia, my father being Calabrese, and my uncles maintained the tradition of making sausages every year. We would call it, we're doing the pig. This tradition is still alive with my relatives. My cousins have taken over and maintained this beautiful tradition, which, you know, dates back to their town in Calabria. I'm just going to add a little bit of dried chili pepper because I actually think it goes well everywhere. So our sausages are cooked. Now we're going to concentrate on cooking our pasta, I fusilli, and we're going to make that beautiful cream that we're going to pair with our dish, which will be a cream made with fave, broad beans, and the Pecorino Romano cheese. Okay, our water is boiling. The water's boiling, I'm gonna add some salt, but go a bit easy on the salt. The sausages are salty. The Pecorino Romano is a really salty cheese, so normally I'm really generous with my salt in my water when I'm cooking pasta, but this time it's not necessary. I'm only gonna add a teaspoon. Okay, we're gonna add our fusilli, which takes 7 minutes. So while the pasta's cooking, we're going to utilize that time, and we're going to make our cream with the fava beans, the broad beans, the pecorino cheese, and we're also going to need the water that the pasta's cooking in to make our cream. Okay, so the broad beans that, as I said earlier, I've already boiled them, I've already peeled them. We're going to add to a little mini food processor. To that I'm going to add a generous quantity of the pecorino that I grated earlier. Now I'm going to add a little bit of water, a little bit at a time. So adding the water a little bit at a time, you're able to regulate the cream that you're going to make. You obviously don't want it too watery, but at the same time, you don't want it too thick. Don't forget to give the pasta a stir. Now, a really important thing to do is not just control how thick it is, but also the taste. As I said, we don't want it too salty because our pecorino is really salty, our sausages are really salty, but I'm just going to check if it does need. It certainly doesn't need any salt, but I will add a little bit of black pepper. Okay, I've removed the pasta a bit earlier than the timer because I want to finish it in the pan. It'll help it absorb all the flavours from the sausage. The great thing about draining your pasta this way directly into the dish is that you're not throwing away your water. Really important, because if it's a bit dry, we can just add a little bit more, and that helps to finish the cooking time without it getting too dry in the saucepan. So before my pasta is finished, I'm just going to add a little bit of pecorino cheese just to help it become a bit more creamier. Okay, so now would be the time to call everyone to the table. And while they're sitting down, it gives you time to plate it up.